back to Fill Your Cuppa, the Support Together podcast. It's me, Mrs. O, your host, and my co-hosts, Una, Mary, and wee Jem Jem.
Hiya.
Hello. I suppose we're coming towards the end of it, girls, and we're just kind of...
I know, I can't believe that.
When we had the idea of a podcast, we didn't really know who or what it would look like. But over the last 9 weeks, we've had a ball. We've braved sitting in the recording studio, the fear of talking into microphones, sharing stories, recounting strategies, writing scripts, telling them fantastic jokes. We've shedded some tears, and we've had some fabulous guests, and we've had to censor out a few bits and pieces here and there.
A lot of editing.
Poor Fane.
I know we're not ready to do a live one.
No, still no lies, and definitely no videos yet.
No.
We've had a blast, and we just wanted to say, come on and say thank you so much to our guests that we had on through our season 1, which was Louise, our sponsor from Moody Activewear, and Shannon Hollywood, the behavioural consultant. Don't be worrying though, this isn't a finish, it's more the end of a beginning. Today's episode is a recap of season 1 and a way of us saying thank you and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all our listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening in on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock and re-listening. And we know a lot of our mummies and a lot of our members have got a lot out of the podcast and are using it as one of their tools in their toolkit. So, but don't worry, this is not the end. We'll be back in the new year for season 2. We've got plenty more exciting and real topics to talk about. But just remember over the Christmas period to the importance of keeping your cuppa filled, and
because there's one sure thing, silly season will make you run on empty.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
will definitely take a lot out of you. We have found that even amongst ourselves.
Yep.
And how we are even trying to navigate motherhood at this silly season time. So we have to remember when we all take time off is to look after ourselves as well as we're looking after others.
Yeah. And breathe.
Breathe. That's very important, Gemma. Very important. We need to breathe.
Yeah.
This year we did rebranding for the charity and we changed our logo. Give it a wee bit of a facelift. And from that there, when we were talking to a lovely wee man down the road, we got the idea of a podcast. We all love to talk. The mummies love to hear us talk. They love to hear the stories.
The banter.
Yeah, and so here we are today, recording the first one. We'll see how it goes. As Handy's doing that.
They're the wee
things.
Oh, I think they were kind of making a comeback.
So the expectations, Ciara, definitely. And remember, that was my first time being a first-time mum, but also when I brought Podrick into the world, it was my first time being a mum to 2 kids. So it was a whole new dynamics, you know, how to look after one baby, then to look after 2, you know, and we work with a lot of mummies that welcome twins into the world, and so there is often we have expectations of ourselves that actually doesn't serve us well.
Because of my journey with IVF, looking back, I don't think I give myself the opportunity to think about the other side until I had Podrick, and then I just think, because I had that, it was an awful shock to the system. As I've said before, I was all over the place, and then I found it very much like Groundhog Day, as you say. You're feeding, you're changing, you're wiping bums, and it was a continuous circle. And I found them very early days just a big muddle. You kind of didn't know where you were at, and the expectation that it's going to be lovely, I'm going to be nursing, doing this, and going to be people visiting, and you maybe didn't want to see a visitor.
Didn't want to see one person.
No.
And even when you think of that, like people come with all these bundles of clothes and presents. Do you know how often it would be just somewhere to land with a lovely hot meal?
Yeah.
Or something that you could throw in the freezer and cook again. Or somebody gift their time to you.
See, that's what I suppose where I learned from baby 1 to baby 3. I would have thought whenever somebody came with baby 1, I was up and making tea, and the house was full of buns, and in case somebody lands or your visitors coming, and like you were there, they were there, and they were there to see the baby, but they were fed and all the rest of it. And then when it came to Orla, there mightn't have been milk in the house, never mind biscuits for them to take. And they were told when they came in the door, if you want a cup of tea, you know where the kettle is. All I have done, girls, from last week
And it's not keeping it clean.
as far
Did you hear
as is clean up vomit and diarrhea. The DI and the dash, 2 farts and a splash is what has been in my house. My wains, my husband, the whole shebang. I felt like the smell of it was burnt into my nostrils. I swear, I went out for supplies, cleaning supplies, toilet roll, bleach, the whole lot on Sunday, and it actually took all my might to have to go back home again because I didn't want to go back to the house.
Now you've been working, managing and working with this situation for quite
Yes,
many days. It's not just 24 hours.
no, this bug has took over my house.
It's been like a domino effect.
Yeah, it's like it started off with Orla, and then Jude went down, then Enda went down, then Emma went down, and Kira was kind of keep the whole lot going there, and 2 dogs and how many greyhounds. But no, so my cuppa hasn't been as full as what I would have liked over the last week or so, but it hasn't. It's not empty.
Pressure now. I'm
Just
gonna
try it, Gemma. It's not that big.
choke myself.
You're taking a sweet and we're doing a podcast.
That's Gemma. That's what she does.
Well, she just announced it. Are you ready? Right, go,
Do
go,
you not
go.
here in the office?
No, I hear the keyboard. Fionn's been very gentle.
I get a wild heart touch at work, you know.
We love
Terrible.
you. We love you, Jam Jam.
We do. We love you, Jam Jam. We do. We love you,
Okay.
Jam Jam. We do.
Jam.
Oh, Jam Jam, we love you.
I like it. I like it.
The big stick and Mama
Mama
Gilt.
Gilt.
Do you know it? Do you
George
familiar
Well,
with it?
yeah.
Is yours a big brown one or black one, or what colour is yours?
Black.
Black. It's like a Sally Rod.
It's a bit knobbly.
Just imagine that.
Knobbly.
Knobbly.
Never heard of
It's
that.
not plain sailing.
No.
Not plain sailing.
I think of a wooden spoon, I think. Whenever I think about it, I always envisage a wooden spoon that I'd be beating myself with.
That's guilt is an awful, awful thing.
Guilt's a killer.
That's something that I know we've talked about a lot in the past, and even Lisa working with us. A lot of mummies, that's what was coming
Yeah.
to her was guilt, and we definitely realised guilt feeds all illnesses. It's a killer.
I know we touched on it a wee bit in the last podcast with the expectations versus reality, but the
Well, it
guilt,
feeds the guilt.
it definitely feeds the guilt.
Yeah.
And then the guilt, the illness, feeds the guilt. And then it's like a vicious circle. It's trying to get out of that.
Well, guilt feeds illness, and that's one thing that the illness loves. Depression and anxiety feed from guilt and fear,
Yeah.
and it grows and grows and grows. And the more guilty we are, we're not going to stand tall and shine bright.
So if we could sit here and we could talk about all the guilty stuff that we've ever felt through the parenthood and all the bad stuff, but if we turn it, how do you overcome the mama guilt, or what was your? How do you manage it? How do you tame it?
I know with me, I suppose I'm longer in the hood. You know, my wains are teenagers. Does that make it any easier? No, because there's new chapters that open. But I talk to the guilt. And exactly what you say, tame it. I would talk to myself. Many times you hear me talking to myself in the toilet. They were wondering who's in there. It's just me,
answer that to
myself.
yourself?
Actually, I do, you know. I think that's why I'm highly emotionally intelligent.
It's worse if you
I'm
start
able-
answering yourself too.
What did they tell us when we're on an airplane? What is
You
their
put the mask on yourself before you can help somebody else.
And I remember going, no, straight away I would go and put it on my kids. But I cannot be well and be a healthy, happy mum, healthy, happy Una, if I do not
Look
take
after
care.
yourself.
And folks, that's not easy.
This is Fill Your Cuppa, the Support Together podcast, and we couldn't bring the podcast to you today without the support of Moody Activewear. Moody Activewear creates high quality, functional activewear so that you can feel good doing the things you love. They don't just support your ass, they support your head as well, as they donate 100% of their profits to support women's mental health, such as Support Together. Visit moodyactivewear.co.uk.
I'd love to learn how to swim.
You don't know how to swim?
I haven't a clue. I'm petrified. Had a bad experience whenever I was young. The first time I was ever in a pool, I thought I could. It's no bother. I jumped in near drowned. I would love to be able to go to a pool with Padraig and be able to float or do something in the water with him.
I wouldn't mind learning to swim myself, to be honest.
I can
It's a
swim.
big thing holds me back.
I hate water. I like looking at it.
Yeah,
None of us like water.
No. We talk a lot in Support Together about the village of Support Together and the village that we are and the wee community that we are.
Yeah.
And I suppose for our mummies, we would always say, well, it takes a village to rear a child, or it takes a village to get you through. And whenever we are coming from a wee get together this morning, we spoke to the mummies before we left, and we says they're all busy about the podcast, and we said we're going to talk today maybe about it takes a village. What do you mean? Straight away they said, good people around you for support.
Yeah.
And using your helping hand and not being afraid and not being ashamed to ask for help.
That's the biggest thing. You know, and I know you had said that your husband and whatever, a lot of people don't have a partner. A lot of people are parenting alone. And that can be an awful place to often be, or you think you're alone, but actually what a village looks like isn't always people.
No. I had to become a
It's
lot
not
more
easy.
grateful
Yeah.
for what I have.
You've said that quite often, and you're right. The gratitude being because often we have to fake it till we make it,
Yeah.
and
I'm grateful for what I have. Padraig and Sean, my health, a house over my head, food on the
Two
table.
fantastic co-workers.
Deadly, aye. They tell great jokes.
I don't know about that. The cheese
All of
is
them
probably coming around the corner very soon.
Yeah.
The seeds are at the foremost and the centre of everything that we do. They're the centre of the sunflower, and we have the support and courage and bloom tags, and we have the planting seeds, the big hug. I'm gonna put you in the spot. I'm gonna shake your head. Support. If I said support, what would you be thinking? Resources. We support through our resources.
Yeah.
We encourage change through learning and education,
Yeah.
and we have the bloom through the impact that we have and the impact that we make for the communities and mummies and families that we work with.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So seeds are there for us. Seeds are the most important thing, and throughout our day of work, throughout our day at home, our interaction with mummies and families, you're always, whether you know it or not, you're always planting seeds. Should that seed, that wee seed that you're dropping today, could be maybe you might get into the gathering next week, or maybe you might get into the get together with wee Jimmy on Thursday morning, or maybe you could think about the counselling, maybe counselling something that is the next step for the journey in you, or even if it's just what about a wee conversation? Have you had that conversation with your partner? Are they aware of how you're feeling? Or maybe a wee conversation with your doctor wouldn't go amiss. So we're always, and I think we do it, is it the word subconsciously?
Subconsciously,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't realise you're doing it. And I think it's part of it's in our DNA now, that's what we do. And I suppose it's coming back from where the charity started, and it was Una and Brenda planting the seed of support, and it takes two support together, and where Support Together's come from and where we are now. And we've a hell of a lot of seeds yet to sow, girls.
Yeah.
We're
Never stop.
never stop, but we've far and wide to go. Just waking away here. There's plenty of weeds out around Fintna.
Oh yes, I'm fond of the weeds.
Yeah, so within our own work, we're constantly planting seeds. You know, somebody planted a seed with me years ago, and they said to me, Una, build it and they shall come. And I go, what's you on about? And just you keep doing it, Una. Keep doing what you're doing. and build it, and they shall come.
Moody in the house.
You're very welcome, Louise.
Thank you for having me.
We wouldn't be here only for Moody because you had sponsored us and fundraised for us last year, and this is what we put the money towards, and the feedback we've been getting for the podcast is amazing. Our mummies and our listeners are really getting what we're talking about, and they're really getting benefits from it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we really, really appreciate that.
And like, oh, it doesn't sound like a random thing to say, but I'm quite a fun-loving person.
Yeah,
and
you are.
Whilst talking about mental illness, one of the reasons we didn't talk about it years ago, and thankfully we're talking about it more, is because it is quite taboo, and it's quite, people like to just keep it to themselves and stuff. And I thought, well, if I can think of a name that can be a little bit more playful as well as addressing what Moody actually is, I thought, what are the things that we called Mummy when we were growing up? Because she would have really, really bad sort of like episodes of depression or whatever it was back then. And I used to think, I used to just call her a moody bitch all the time. I love that. I know. I was always going to call the brand moody bitch, and then I thought maybe it's a wee bit too confronting for some people. So I pulled it back to moody, and straight away it was just like, that's it. It's moody activewear. And like, it's the perfect name.
Oh, it is, because I know even my kids would go, oh, what mood she in today? What mood's mum coming home? And that's often the rush and the wumble and the pumble of life it is. But when you'd said that to me way back a long time ago when I met you, it stuck with me. And I found that's amazing. It's an amazing name for a fantastic brand. And it's a great story behind it. Like, and as you say, what mood is she, moody bitch in the day? Like, that sound to people might sound very harsh, but it's not, because you were putting a bit of humour in behind maybe the situation that you were dealing with at that time, or your mummy was.
And I am now a mother, and I am a moody bitch a lot. Yes. So, and it is funny because a lot of, even dads will come in, because we do pop-up shops every now and then, and they'll go, oh, this is the perfect name for my woman. And, it's a bit like, as a brand name, it's just Moody. But then if you kind of pull back the layers, you're going, there is a reason why it's there. It is a term that is used to describe people who are up and down in terms of low and high mood and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's a good fit.
I think it's amazing. And sharing that, thank you for sharing that with us.
I was sitting there, and we had just moved home from Australia in the March, and I had Peter's 4 now and Harper's 2, but at the time they were like 1 and 3, and I was having a really tough time. They were having a tough time settling back here in Ireland and stuff. And so I went in, and I thought I was just going in to be like, here's Moody, and this is what I'd love to do for support together. I'm still a small business, so it's not going to be significant, but hopefully we can grow together and stuff. And next thing, I'm like getting like complete counselling from Una, because I realised that I was actually not in the greatest place. I was like really quite, I just didn't realise until you sort of said to me, just hold on a second, what you're doing is really good. Now just give yourself a bit of a break. And I was like, I don't think I am giving myself a break. And I was just like,
she has a way of doing that, She has a way of
back.
That's not the intention.
No, but it was so lovely, because I wasn't even aware of it.
Yeah.
Like, I would never have thought, I didn't even realise at the time I was in like fight or flight, and I was just fight, for a couple of months. And then it was lovely actually to just sit down, and it felt like a really safe place to sit and have a conversation. I spoke to you about things that I had never even talked about really to anyone in my life, about mummy and the experience that we had. And, it was absolutely lovely. And I walked away going, like, this is going to be, I hope, like a long-term relationship. And hopefully Moody can do endless things to support you in the work that you're doing. I found the joy only now, and I hope he never listens to this podcast when he's older.
Because all I've seen over the weekend is Christmas trees going up, Christmas lights going on, everywhere you look. There's Christmas music, and I love Christmas, but it's getting a bit. It's on top of me.
There's a shop, and they were playing Christmas music. And I thought, it's fucking real. The fireworks were going off in the background, and one's running around with their Halloween costumes, and all I could hear was Christmas music. I suppose I'm bringing it back from a child's point of view. How confusing is that?
It's so rushed.
There is the exact word.
I feel like everything's rushed on top of us, because and I'm going to be honest, I didn't enjoy Halloween this year.
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling there's something missing, and it's not Christmas. I don't know what it is, but and maybe I do know what it is. It's everything's rushed and everything's on top of you.
We're always chasing
I feel
the
like
next,
there's
the
pressure.
the next holiday, the next Easter, should it be Easter, Halloween, summer holidays? We're always rushing ahead.
Be present in the time that we have now.
Don't get me started.
There's 3 elves in my house.
I thought it was wild crack at the beginning, and then it kind of.
I haven't started, and I just think it's a whole load of.
No, well, we have 3 elves now. They don't.
If it
They
floats your boat,
yeah.
good enough.
My elves, they don't really do a wild pile. They move about and they're there. But no, I don't go into that whole.
Yeah, and some people love it. That's
Oh, yeah.
grand, but there's lots.
I haven't got the energy for it, girls.
Yeah.
And on my right, we've got a very special guest. We've got Shannon Hollywood, behavioural consultant. Very, very welcome here today, Shannon.
Thank you very much, Kira.
How are you getting on? Are you a wee bit nervous?
I am absolutely bricking it.
Oh, but you're grand. Sure, it's just a conversation, Macabre.
Yes,
That's
just
what
a
we're
chat.
having today.
So done my social work, and I remember sitting in the lecture theatre anyway, and I had this light bulb moment. I'm not bad. I'm not a bad person. I've just had lots of stuff happen to me that's made it really difficult for me to like connect with people, make friends, do all of them things that came a lot easier to other people. And this realization just really changed me. Like it really, really changed me. Then I started to do a lot of self-development work with a local lady in the town, and she was like my little saviour. She really was amazing, and I still go to her today. So I've been going to her for like 13 years.
Amazing.
Like she's incredible. So done loads of self-development work, explored my own behaviour, all of that. Got really interested in early childhood experiences, how we parent, what that means. And then it just kind of accelerated from there. It was that kind of, like, you had all that textbook knowledge, and I was going to be the best parent that ever walked on 2 feet.
Yeah.
I was going to be absolutely perfect, and everything was going to be wonderful. And quickly did I not learn that that's not real life at all. So, and I used to run workshops and deliver support before I had kids. And I used to be like, just go home and do this. And like next week they'd be like, oh no, I haven't been able to do that. And I used to be wondering, why not? Like, what's going on? And then I had kids and was like, oh, I realise now exactly why that's so difficult.
You know, even as you're saying it in your career and your pathway into where it got you, and often we're working with a lot of people, it's the same, they're professional people and they become parents and they expect themselves to parent as they do, you know, that they have all this knowledge and I should be able to do this.
Yeah.
You park that, you take that cap off you, you know, and I'm thinking of me in the childcare industry, being a nursery nurse, you know, working in daycare, working in schools, working with young ones. And I walked into motherhood. People said to me, "We no bother to you now." And secretly, I remember going, "Yeah, I've got this in the bag." Every woman I work with,
Easy
it's a
peasy,
pure
yeah.
delight.
Easy peasy.
I had nothing in the bag. My anxiety was that overwhelming. And, you know, it's okay to look after somebody else's child, but you're handing that child back. You know, and that mummy or daddy had to deal with that baby or their needs, you know, nighttime not sleeping well, whatever. And that whole emotional, how it consumes you, you know, take the worry. I didn't have to deal with the worry when I was mating because you were mating you to structure, you know, especially in daycare and sure start and different things. And then walking into motherhood so like, fuck, what was I thinking? With different ages and stages, Shannon, like, and you would talk a lot about that. The expectations that we have of children
Are
but
way
their
too
age and
high.
stage,
Yeah, way
Jesus is
too
not
high.
even meeting that.
Way too high. And like it is, I think it's really important that, you know, parents, I completely lost my train of thought now what I was going to say, but it's just really important that parents have the information that they need to bring them expectations down. To be like, actually, it's normal that my 2-year-old hits kicks and bites and heads bangs and tries to run off. It's normal that my 4-year-old also does that. It's normal that my 3-year-old doesn't want to leave me, even though they might have been going to daycare. Fine, up until this point.
Yeah.
You know, it's normal that my 5-year-old's talking about death all the time. Like, all of these ages and stages are normal things that your children are passing through, but they just need your support. And I think, like, yeah, and I suppose just bearing in mind that you're in a relationship with your child. Relationships are not perfect. They're messy as we're trying to get to know one another. And I suppose a really important point to make is that children don't need perfect parents.
No.
if you are a perfect parent, you are doing a disservice to your child, because relationships aren't perfect. They need to experience what it's like to fall in and fall out of that relationship, for things to get difficult and for it to be repaired afterwards. And I think what we know now, and what's really helped me as a parent, things are definitely not perfect in our house. There's times where I don't even like my children. And like, I love them dearly. Oh, that's it. I love my husband very dearly. There's times I don't like him. I love my kids dearly. There's times I don't like them. That's the nature of relationships. But I know now how to repair it. Like if I've done something where I'm not happy with it, I've shouted or I've spoke to them in a way that's not okay, I will always go back and repair that. That's what children need. They need us to own our behaviour. They need us to show up and be in a relationship with them. They don't need us to.
And we can give them this gift, haven't we, as humans? We can communicate.
And it's free.
Free.
Laughter is like, and it's catching, because if I started to laugh and then Gemma started to laugh because she was laughing at my laugh, and then Una was laughing at my laugh,
But then the part
and
that
then
I
whole
nearly
lot.
pee myself now, and that's the problem. It gets a wee bit. Anyway, that's a subject for another day. We can smell.
smell some
Can you
cheese?
smell the cheese, Shannon?
What did one snowman say to the other?
I don't know. What did one snowman say to the other?
Do you smell carrots? What is the best Christmas present, girls?
Best Christmas present.
2 front teeth.
Gemma.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Jenny.
No.
Has 2
A broken drum. You just can't beat it.
Oh, no, yeah. Where would you find a snowman dancing?
The puddle somewhere.
And a snowball.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, good. Boom,
Boom, boom.
Bada boom, bada boom.
That's us, ladies and gentlemen, over and out for 2023. And we look forward to speaking to you all and telling more stories and getting our word out there and breaking down the stigma of
new topics.
postnatal depression and anxiety.
Providing the hope.
Providing the hope, the pinhole of hope in 2024.
We'll see you next year. So many interesting new topics, because we have a lot of people who have sent in requests, and we're going to investigate and bring in more guests for 24.
24.
Watch the space.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Fill Your Cuppa, the Support Together podcast. Brought to you by me, I'm the host, Mrs. O, Ciara O'Gowan, and my co-hosts Una Leonard and Gemma Cassidy. Today we are supported by Moody Activewear and produced by 9874 Creative.